Hello guys, this is Wallace, Poland's main toy dude, in my first HD toy review. And to start this new glorious era of my videos, I'm going to show you something that no one probably expected, but which is a thing that I wanted to do ever since I started doing Wallace toy reviews in English again, which is Transformers Cybertron Scout Class Autobot Repegnus. And I can tell you already, there was no other Transformer whose name fitted so well. So you can probably already tell what will be the tone of this review, but I simply can't help it. You can't always review praisable toys. Sometimes you have to show what to avoid. And I think you actually should avoid this toy, which I'm going to discuss right now. As you can see, this is the repaint of Decepticon Undermine from 2005. This was released a year later to avoid, I don't know, some kind of suspiciousness that you do a redeco of this toy in the same year. And as you can see, Repegnus is a dinosaur. I'm not a guy that knows too much about dinosaurs, so I can't precise the species. But it has a huge fin. And taking advantage of the HD details we have, let's look at all the marvelous details. I'm going to admit detailing is quite nice on this thing. The jaw opens as well, I think. Oh yeah, it does. Just the other way around. Usually this thing pops down and not this pops up. You can see the nice array of teeth and everything tongue inside. It's all gold though. So it looks like his last meal was rather rusty one. With blue eyes, because all Autobots need to have blue eyes, unlike the guys who are evil, who have red eyes. And as you can see, I am not sure if this is actually... no, it isn't. I was originally thinking this was kind of a production thing that got awry, but actually Repegnus has pupils. Small as they are, but he has pupils. Really nice, I admit. Is it enough to save this toy from my passive rage? Not really. I was saying that the name fits, and okay, you can see the color scheme is, well, it's a weird mishmash of orange, silver, black, gold, copper. So it basically looks like some dinosaur fell into a volcano, then got attacked by Transmetal 2 Drive and got out of the volcano to scare all the other dinosaurs into extinction, which in fact would actually justify the original name of this toy in Japan, Dino Shout. Yeah, the last shout of the dinosaurs before extinction. But I am off-topicing. I admit the details are quite nice, and this does inflict a rather techno-organic feel, which is also, well, not badly posed for a dinosaur. I mean, 3-jointed legs, this is quite nice. So technically, if you had some Tamiya stage or action base, you could probably make it run. The tail pops off, which means the joints are very tight, perhaps even tighter than they should. But it's a nice tail, and yeah, you can tell it's already detachable weapon. And yes, the name of this guy, according to his color scheme, is a tribute to the original Autobot from Generation 1, the monster bot Repegnus, who transformed into a mutant mechanical insect. Quite a different approach here, but the color scheme, same, pretty much. Just different proportions of colors. And, what is that thing on the fin? Oh boy, that looks like eyes of a robot. Yes. Oh, and that looks like the cyber key slot. Yes, this one, the jungle one. So it probably does something. So let's plug it in, and make sure you plug it in this way, because the cut here that allows to slide this part in is only on this side. So if you try to push it too hard, the key facing this way, you're likely to break something. Anyway, let's plug in thing. And what kind of power-up we will give? A blade. Oh dear. A copper blade with nice details, I admit, but what kind of purpose this serves in this mode, I can tell you probably none. Unless he wants to commit suicide at this spot, so he just jerks his head around, up, and he basically splits his own head in half, which would be accurate to the way he transforms. I don't know, I was never really a fan of this mold. I thought it was one of the least likable Scout class toys. Well, unless you count always this thing, which did not gather too much of my appreciation either. Unlike this thing, Revenge of the Fallen Dead End, by the way you can see the scale. But overall I just don't like this. Just don't like this design. And especially the fact we have the arms visible. No, the head. Yeah. I just don't like it. It could be a nice dinosaur, but it just... I don't know. It's most likely the mold, but it's not something I would be too scared of or be proud to put next to my Beast Wars Ultra Megatron or any other incarnation of his. So it's not really bad in this mode, but it's not something I really like, especially with the eyes visible from the back. This is what we call puppet control. Anyway, let's transform him. We take this off. We split his head apart. Delightful. To reveal his head, we elevate this up, like this. Click, click. Nice hands, by the way, eh? You straighten his legs, collapse the tail connector, and despite appearances that might be confusing, this is his robot mode in its finished state. And you can tell already from the front it looks quite tall but quite thinny. And basically what this looks like is a mutant transformer with a giant mohawk. It's how it looks to me. And this mode, I can tell you already, is the one I think is the worst one of the two. Because look at this. Arms are basically the head and the neck split in half. They didn't even bother to hide any fists in here. You connect the weapon via this port in the lower jaw, which doesn't look very convincing. The legs are nice, I admit. They make a good use of the multi-jointedness. However, they are sadly foreshadowed by the upper part, which still has some nice details, but no. Just look at the head. You can tell already it's completely immobile. It can't move in any way. The design, I don't know, maybe it wouldn't be so bad. It looks like kind of a avian with a battle helmet on, which on its own is quite cool, but you can see that either the paint application has failed, or the design did not include him having any multicolored eyes. It's just yellow of the lower bottom under a helmet. And it's not really all that nice looking. He has no mouth. Okay, this might be a quite abstract design, but one that does not work for me, sadly. So you can technically arm him with his own tail, which nicely fits into his lower jaw. Can you call that hand movement, wrist movement? Not really. By the way, let's check out the posability. It goes like this, so it's decent for a scout for the arms. The legs are quite nice. They can do a full split, which is quite impressive. And they have many ways of doing the knee thing to this transformation, so yeah. If you're just using one joint, you can't do a single good bend. If you use two, you have something closer to a normal bend. And sadly, the feet are just one piece, so they can do this, and they really help stabilizing the thing in battle poses, but you can't really come up with any good battle poses because, look at it. How can you make anything good with no motion in head and the arms like that? You can tell it's a grunt unit who gets tossed around the planet every single time he gets into attack. Also, this is the time to look at the cyber key function, which is supposed to grant the robot some additional firepower or some skills to fight off enemies. However, in this case, what it does is it makes no sense, mostly because as a real robot fan, I can tell you, if you are deploying a blade that hangs over your head and that really requires you to literally stand next to your enemy, it makes no sense. They will just take out their rifles and blow you apart from a mile away. So it's really, okay, just weird. A battle mohawk. I can't call it any other way. A battle mohawk. I really think this was not thought well through enough. Or something like that, but overall, I suppose you could pick a better scout transformer even from this line. Hello, Cybertron armor hide with chest missile. Compare 8 missiles in your chest versus a short blade in your head. I think the choice is rather obvious. And if you like something quite more modern, you can take another scout who is superior in every single way. Wind Charger, who has many good things about him. Unlike this guy who has only many few things about him that are good. So overall, you can tell I am not a fan of this toy. If someone liked this toy, this mold, I'm sorry, but this has to be subjective a bit, and I really don't like this mold. I think it's wasted potential. This could be really nice if the head just moved up a bit to grant him a neck joint. Slightly give more detail to the inner arms so they didn't look like a dinosaur head ripped into half like they do right now. I don't know, maybe if they tried something slightly more Beast Wars Dinobot, or even Energon Cruel Lock, it might have worked, but in its current state, this toy is not really interesting. It looks bad, it's not really functional, so honestly, I can't tell I recommend anyone to buy them, unless they are completists who really have to have even the smallest, most grotesque toy in their collection to be satisfied. For everyone else, you can start collecting Cybertron with better toys. And you have more than one to choose from, despite all the bad words some people say about Cybertron. So this has been Wallace, Poland's main toy dude. Hopefully see you in another English review soon. Perhaps from Cybertron, perhaps from another show, but something that will certainly please me more. Stay tuned, thank you for your attention, and see you.